Hello everybody and welcome back to I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. So we are continuing our rebellious run, and as you can see we are already at Rebellion 100 because we are a little shit, and we have been this entire time. But as per usual, we're going to continue talking to Dees and only Dees, and basically ignoring everybody completely, or being a jerk to them when they try to interact with us. We're only here for Dees, and we're only here for the special endings, and maybe two others depending. It's also about if I can get them or not. Maybe only one. We'll see. But what's up, Dees? You catch Dees on a ridge overlooking the wilderness, bobbing his head along to something playing through his ear-speak. He doesn't notice you walk up. He jumps when you tap him on the shoulder, and scrambles to turn off his holopalm. "Don't sneak up on me like that," he grumbles, then flops backwards on the grass to look up at you. "Man, I was just getting to the good part of the song." "What are you listening to?" Dees looks away. "Just some old music from Earth. You probably wouldn't like it." "Try me." You sit down beside Dees and extend your hand to link your holopalms. Dees stares up at you for a few seconds before pressing his palm to yours, and the music floods your brain through your ear-speak. Dees takes his hand back and weaves his fingers together, timid. "I listen to a lot of Earth music," he says. "Do you like it?" he asks. "I love this band." Dees cracks a smile, relieved. "Good," he says. "It's my favorite right now. I always listen to the same album on repeat. It's comfort music. I really like her voice." He stares into his lap. "Sometimes I feel like the lyrics are about me," he admits. "They're just so deep, like my soul really gets this kind of music. But don't tell anyone, okay? It makes me feel better, thinking that someone knows my pain, even if it's just a dead Earth woman." "Sounds deep, man." Dees nods and closes his eyes. "Yeah," he replies. "I have a lot of time to think. Not like everyone else here." You lie back in the grass and listen to Dees' music for a while. Hold his hand. You reach out tentatively and link just your pinky fingers with Dees, feeling him tense up beside you. He darts you a nervous glance, then looks back up at the sky when he sees you looking back at him. His cheeks go completely red. He doesn't hold your hand, but he doesn't move away either. Aww. First love! Well, we did already make out with him when we were kids, but we were also high on pixie beans. Alright, it's time to run out and explore the wilderness while we can. I've got to find Sim. Oh, cool, I can forage in the valley already. Can you actually unlock that before the famine happens? I don't know. Ooh, there's a deep, perfectly circular pond here filled with clear, crystalline water. Small, transparent creatures like jellyfish bob around it, rippling with iridescence. Dees is with you, and in a characteristically bad mood. Despite the jaw-dropping beauty of your surroundings, he plops grumpily down on the bluff to watch the water. Watch with him. You aren't watching for long when a tentacle reaches up and plucks one of the jellyfish in the swarm, dragging it down into the depths. Some massive xeno must live at the bottom of this pond. Fascinating. As you watch, it plucks two more. It seems to prefer the larger, older ones. Maybe it's like a farmer, tending to this flock, or just a very sneaky predator. You take some notes, particularly that you should think twice about swimming in any of these ponds. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna stay clear. You're too busy to watch a boring old pool, and you've been warned to stay away from the water anyway. Dees sighs and gets back up to follow you. No, wait! I know there's some funny stuff that can happen here. Alright, I won't go swimming, but I'll take a nap at the shore. So relaxing! You take off your shoes and soak your feet in the water. You're dozing off until a tentacle grabs your ankle and pulls you into the pool. You flail your arms, fighting off the gentle pull of the tentacle. Dees watches from the shoreline. You think he's frozen in shock, but when you call for help, he only frowns in thought. "Dees, help!" Dees moves closer to the pool. "Panic doesn't help," he mutters. "Calm down, just calm down, see?" You stop flailing and the tentacle stops pulling. "See, it's not pulling you under," Dees says. "It's just checking you out." After a while, the tentacles release you and disappears into the depths. Dees helps to fish you out of the deceptively deep pool and helps wring out your clothes. I'm gonna say nothing. "Don't do that again," Dees said, sounding furious actually. "If you drowned in there, it would have been my fault. Don't ever do that again." You realize he's upset because he cares about you, in his way. You mumble a thank you and grab a towel to dry off. "Thank you, Dees." You leave the front gates and see Deese talking to one of the senior surveyors. He listens intently to their instructions, and the surveyor hands him a satchel of instruments and claps him on the shoulder before walking away. Deese turns to you. "Hey, Abby," he says. He hikes the satchel on his shoulder and gives you a shy smile. "It's still kind of weird to be allowed outside the walls. Remember when we used to sneak out?" Deese's eyes crinkle at the corners. "It was so easy to avoid Chief Surveyor Tonin," he says wistfully. He ducks his head. "Too bad he's dead. He was really nice to me." "What's the weirdest thing you've seen?" Deese looks up at the sky with a thoughtful look. "There's this big rock in the western ridges that's almost totally flat on the top. When I get near it, it makes me feel happy." He smiles. "It's so strange, and it's really hard to leave. The first time I went there, I laid on top of it for so long that I almost missed the transport back." "I know it's my job, but I haven't told anyone about it yet," he says. "I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like it wants to be kept a secret." "Sounds kind of romantic." "An isolated place that makes you feel good? Yeah." Deese blinks at you, like the thought truly hadn't crossed his mind. He frowns. "I guess," he says, as if the word tastes bad in his mouth. Deese looks pretty busy, so you say goodbye and let him get back to his work. You'll have to let him keep some of his secrets, for now. Alright, I'm gonna go explore the Valley of Vertigo, see if there's any events in there, and also still try and find Sim. And we're starving. I want you there. At the meeting? Nah. Your dad clears his throat. "Gabby doesn't have to go if they don't want to," he says. "There's no need upsetting them if they already know." Yep. I don't care. Vertumnalia. Hell no. Participation is for joiners. You can't imagine anything duller than running around like a little kid or wasting colony resources on a popularity contest. Too much energy to even watch it. In disgust, you leave the festival and head to the walls to sulk in your self-righteousness. You spot Deese sitting on the wall, dangling his feet off the edge as he stares off into the wilderness. "You okay?" Deese frowns and doesn't look at you. "Yeah, I'm just... whatever," he says. "I'm done trying to please people." Oh, yeah, because he does do the talent show, doesn't he? Or at least he did in the first year. Aha, here we go, found him! Symbiosis! You raise your voice and call him by name. The man, Symbiosis. You know him from your dreams of a past life. After a few seconds, Sim reappears with a suspicious look on his face. "How do you know my name?" I am gonna also read some of Sim's things, I think, just because he's so connected to these endings. Maybe. I learned it in a dream. Sim nods, like this makes sense to him. He jumps up onto a large rock and crouches, eyeing you thoughtfully. "Let's make a deal," he says. He speaks with an odd inflection, putting the wrong stress on things, but the words themselves come easily enough to him. "I'm not supposed to talk to you," he says. "It's against the rules. But once you've caught me..." Or wait. "But since you've caught me, I can grant you one wish." He smiles mischievously. "Is this a joke?" "I wish to know more about you." He gives you a sly look. "In time, Yabby. I hope we..." He pauses and his eyes unfocus for a moment. He stares straight ahead, unblinking. Then he slowly stretches like a cat and stands up. "Well, this has been fun, but I'm afraid duty calls." He doffs an invisible hat towards you. "I'm looking forward to the rest of the story of how you came to know my name." He jumps behind the rock and disappears. Literally, he disappeared. You search all around and can find no trace of where he might have gone, or how. You're struck by a sudden sense of remembering so strong that you have to stop and hold your head. Meeting Sim again. It's just like it was before. No, come back! Come back! Deese! Hang on, Mom. You and Deese are sitting on the tailgate of one of the expedition vehicles, shelling bobber seeds with your teeth and spitting the hard bits on the ground. Now and then one of you points out something funny a passing surveyor does, or spots something under the mush trees. This is the easiest way to talk to Deese, by not talking at all. Deese has always been like this. Being isolated from the other kids has made him thoughtful. Out of everyone, you think Deese might understand about Sim, and be able to keep the secret. Do you tell him? I trust him. You tell Dees that you saw something interesting when you were out on expedition. Dees perks up immediately, turning to look at you. Yeah? He asks. What? I met an alien, Dees. His jaw drops, and his face goes an interesting color. You're worried for a moment that he's going to be upset with you for teasing him, but... No way, Dees hisses, leaning in. But I met an alien too, Yabby. What was yours like? Like us, but alien? You describe Sim, his long dark hair, his big eyes, his faintly purple skin, the way he never seems to answer any of your questions. Dees stares at your face. Wait, you met Sim too? You nod, and Dees's hands fly to his hair. He said he met another human kid, but he didn't say who it was. It was you, this whole time. He made me swear I wouldn't tell anyone else, Dees says earnestly. It's a weird expression on him. He said that if other humans knew about him, bad things would happen. So, So, we can talk about Sim, but we have to keep it a secret. This will be ours. Oh, how do you think he's so good at hiding? I think I saw him turn into a tree once, Dees says. That's silly, right? No, it's not, actually. What do you think he eats? Dees replies, scratching his chin. I've never seen him eat. Maybe he eats plants and stuff. He's always barefoot. Maybe he sucks it up through the bottoms of his feet. Oh my goodness, that's an image. What will the grown-ups think? We'd just get laughed at, Dees scowls, and the chief engineer would probably just want to experiment on him. We can't let that happen. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna go back. I wanna promise to keep it a secret. I just wanted to see what that one said. Okay, this will be our secret. Dees nods, looking serious. Good, he says simply, then repeats it. Good. You're back to shelling bobber seeds in silence, watching the colony go about its business. Our beautiful secret. Alright, what do you want? Oh no. Your mom and dad are taking a midday break in the shade of a trellis and wave you over as you approach. Yabby, come here, your dad says, pulling up a crate with his foot and patting the top invitingly. Come spend time with your old mom and pop. How's your day been? Alright, I guess. Our fearless explorer, your mom drawls, taking a swig from her canteen. She wipes her mouth with the back of her hand and passes the canteen back to your dad. Made friends with any alien life forms yet? Your face goes on a whole journey. Any friends with any... What? Do they know about Sim? How could they? Your parents chuckle at your expression. Wow, Yabby, your dad says. You know, like the little hop eyes that sneak in or a blip bug. Oh, those kinds of aliens. You thought for sure they were talking about Sim, but hey, while they're asking... Nope! Your mom and dad nod and go back to their conversation. You sit with them a while and share the canteen. It's iced blep tea. You're not supposed to drink it because it makes you feel kind of buzzy, but it makes the rest of the afternoon fly by. Good, because I hate spending time with them. God, I hate my parents. I hate everything. I'm gonna go talk to my alien friend. Under the guidance of the gardeners and the final directive of the convergent domain, nature at last reclaimed the barren planet. The garden existed in perfect balance. And now, your species has invaded it. We had nowhere else to go. Your kind had the option to stay where they were, the overseer replies, the tone of its thoughts darkening. Do you think we have empathy for the convergent domain, who fled on colony ships? The ones who selfishly refused to give their bodies back to the planet they'd destroyed with their pride. You chose to come here, the overseer continues, and you continued to stay here. You could instead choose to die. You shudder involuntarily. Some Vertumnan species have a technique of future sight, which the gardeners harness to catch glimpses into the web of timelines. We see that you possess this technique too, alone in your kind. We have foreseen that humans pose a great danger to this planet. You are a monoculture, an invasive species. You throw our hard-won balance in disarray. Since arriving, you have shown nothing but a willingness to consume the planet's resources and replace them with more humans. I'm sorry we ever landed. Your guilt is inconsequential, the overseer replies. We have observed that this emotion makes humans behave defensively. They avoid the cause of the guilt, or worse, try to destroy it. No, it is better to pull a blighted plant from the root. Most gardeners would prefer to stamp you humans out like encroaching weeds, the overseer says, without malice. Instead, we have tried, using ecologically compliant organic methods. We are impressed at your tenacity to withstand those eradication procedures. The yearly attacks, the famine, the pollen, Not random natural occurrences at all, but gardener tactics to encourage the eradication of pests. But you have already seen, or is it dreamed, of this meeting, and convinced Symbiosis to bring you to me. You are worthy of at least communicating with. You present us with a quandary. You come from the stars, refugees of a catastrophe of your own design, one that you are intent to recreate here, on a planet which still bears the scars of the last time it was used carelessly. So we ask, what are we to do with you? You're right to destroy us. The Overseer pauses, for a long time. This is not the response we expect from a human, it admits slowly. We will think on this. There's a silence in your head, and you only hear the sound of water trickling down the cave walls and the gentle hum of machines. Eventually, the Overseer speaks in your mind, one last time. For now, you may leave freely. We will consider this quandary, and we will be monitoring you and the other humans. You feel a strange pull at your consciousness as you remove your hands from the interface. There you have it, Sim murmurs. That is my boss. I'm terrified. Sim nods sadly. That is the correct response. It's why I wanted you to know the truth. He walks over to you and runs his hand over the consoles. And now, you know how to connect to the array, he says quietly. But you should not come here unless I am with you. Sim takes your hand and looks at you solemnly. When you interface with the array, you hold everything we are in your hands. It took a great deal of negotiating to convince my fellow gardeners to trust you with this power. Please, do not prove this trust mistaken. Alright, and then I have a gift for you. The gift, I saved the flower from my mother, because I wanted to see what his reaction would be to it. Sim admires the Astrania flower for several minutes. It's beautiful, he tells you as he hands it back, and I feel its importance to you, but I cannot accept it. This is from Earth, and it belongs to your colony, not out here with me. That makes sense. Probably wouldn't want something from Earth encroaching on Vertumna anyway. Ah, we're dying! Oh, I did steal food earlier, so I've been stealing food. Here or there, just little morsels from the kitchens or farms. You feel like you need it more than others, but it's never quite enough. Ah, we're dying. I'm not helping my mom, I don't do that. You don't waste your energy. You spend a lot of time on the holoweb, watching movies, though you have to fast forward through the scenes where they eat. Your dad comes home late, and some nights your mom doesn't come home at all. Your dad tells you that she set up a bed in one of the greenhouses to save time and energy. Alright, oh, and she's dead. RIP! She's gone. I'm not attending the funeral. You hear from the others that the funeral service was beautiful, just like how you used to do it in space. Your mother's body was placed into the colony recycler, and her remains will be used to nourish the fields. Even in death, she gives to the land. Your dad, the new head of geophonics, encourages you to take some time off to process your grief. What do? Yeah, sure, why not? I've gotten everything done this year that I needed to. Alright, here we go. This is the last time I'm gonna run out to face it, because after this, we're not. Because then the Helios will be here. So we'll deal with the faceless this time, but any other time we're not going to. Fight the faceless monster on your own? Did I do that before? I'm gonna do that. Charge! Good thing I've been gathering stuff. There we go. The Faceless whips its tentacles around, slapping the ground and knocking into people, picking them up and throwing their helpless bodies like dolls, only to be crushed under its massive trunk-like feet. The fields are littered with bodies of the fallen. Sweat stings your eyes, but somehow you stay on your feet. You're not entirely certain how you manage it, but somehow you get on top of it, clambering up its thick tail with your pitchfork in one hand. Its skin is leathery and smooth, radiating in sickly heat. The defenders shout as they see you climb into its massive tentacles. You ready your pitchfork and thrust it into its horrible craw. The Faceless roars, rearing back on its hind legs and flailing its tentacles around in an attempt to throw you off. You keep hold of it as it kicks and bucks under you, trampling the defensive squad underfoot. The defensive line breaks, and the Faceless takes off in a gallop towards the stratospheric. With a roar that shakes your very molecules, it loses its balance for the last time and falls onto the ship. The metal screams as the ship buckles and give away. Whole pieces of the quarter's wings shear off as your home opens like a tin can, spilling its contents into the square. The strato lurches, then collapses under the creature's weight. You slide down from its corpse and run back to the fields, where wails of grief begin to join the whimpers of the dying. Your stomach sinks as you see Anemone bent over the body of her brother Calm. His body is bent at an unnatural angle, his eyes open and his face frozen, in a sort of stupefied terror. He looks unreal, like a wax mannequin. He's just gone, like that. Anemone lets out a primal scream of pain and holds him to her chest, rocking back and forth among the carnage. You've accomplished the impossible, but in all of your remembered lives, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, even killing the Faceless in single combat is not enough. There seems to be no way to avert this disaster. This time you might have even caused it. Oh, that kind of hurts me. The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from its horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. They call you a hero for killing it. But not everyone sees it that way. Your stunt got one of the defense squads trampled, and you did train the monster straight into the stratospheric. You were brave and lucky to survive. But it's hard to say if your actions made things better or worse. Governor Udicott was killed by the smaller creatures that swarmed command during the attack. In her absence, Seek addresses the colony. Geophonics is gone, the greenhouse is destroyed, and the fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back where you started. It's even worse. Everything your mom sacrificed herself for, gone in one night. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the creche. It's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the creche weren't all killed. Seek solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives. Too many, including Governor Udicott. You all stand in a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Anemone and her family cry out when her brother Calm's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded in the classrooms with other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Anemone cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. You feel like you've been awake for days, and you'll never sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mirthfully dreamless. You know, defeating the Faceless in combat actually works very well for the storyline we're going for, because we see the destruction that we caused, and so that could be the reason that not only and we've been spending so much time with Dees outside, and now we've met Sim, that seeing the destruction we caused by our own hands would be a perfect reason for us to turn as radical as we do, and help Dees, because we have seen the destruction that humans can cause, that we caused. It's perfect! Oh yes! I love me a well-constructed narrative, baby! I tried to mention it in the last video, but I don't know if it managed to make the cut since the video was so long when I was editing it, that I want to get all 4 pets this run too. That means we not only have to get through engineering, but we also have to go to the hunting area, which will be fun because not only can we help Dees defend against stuff some more, but we can fuck with Vase, which is always fun. Alright, I'm gonna rebuild. You're assigned to help rebuild the walls. The first part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it into salvage or recycling. By the time that's done, crews disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin work patching up the walls. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. Deese is on the work crew with you, something he does begrudgingly. Walls didn't help the first time, he grumbles, whenever anyone asks for his opinion. We should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed too. Deese is right, this is pointless. You don't go as far as to sabotage the walls, but you certainly don't contribute. You and Deese drag your feet, sulking anytime someone tells you to work harder. Surprisingly, you don't get in trouble. You're just kids after all. No one expects you to get back to work right away after a huge trauma like losing your home. Alright, here we go. Here comes the Helios. Hey guys! I hate all of you. I haven't even met you yet. I'm gonna try and sneak away. The heliopod's shoulders have the colonists surrounded and shove you gently but forcefully back into the crowd. Play with your holopalm instead. Well, you may be stuck here, but they can't make you listen. You tune out the pomp and pointless adult talk, yada yada, Governor Uticott knew the ship was coming, blah blah, now this new guy Lum will be governor, and he's some kind of space cop? But whatever, all the adults are basically the same, and equally boring. The crowd disappears slowly, and the council members follow Lum back to the heliopods, presumably to talk about the future of the colony, you hope. You track down your friends. So what do you think about these new people? Mars asks. I don't want to share this planet. I don't mind sharing, Cal chimes in, but we don't really have anything left to share. We were already barely hanging on, and did you see what they did to the fields? They're all torn up even worse now. Yep. I'm certainly not going to help with anything. Alright, I know the others are here now, but we're going to continue to ignore all of them. We are only here for one person. Not you. You head out of the colony hoping to find Deese, and you do, as well as Rhett and Utopia, who have teamed up to talk to Deese about something that has him scowling deeply. It was different before the attacks, you hear Utopia say, but you're older now, and when you're on expedition, you can get into a lot more danger than when you were a little kid going on walkabout. When you're out there on my team, I'm counting you to do as you're told, and be where you said you'd be. She gestures beseechingly. What am I going to do if something happens to you out there, kid? What if you disappear one day and you're hurt and no one knows where to find you? What if... I'll be fine, Deese cuts her off. I can take care of myself, and if I can't, that's on me. That's not how it works here, Rhett says, his voice stern. You're not just putting yourself in danger out there, you're putting the whole colony in danger. I know you're a bit of a loner, son, but you have a family here. All of us. We're all your family. We're going to send people out to find you, and what if they get into the same trouble as you did, he continues. We're counting on you to follow directions out there, to keep everyone safe, not just yourself. What if I don't want to be found? Deese explodes, waving his arms. What if I just want to be left the hell alone? Rhett and Utopia are stunned by Deese's outburst. Rhett opens his mouth to respond, but Deese talks over him. If I don't come back, just leave me out there, he spits. If this planet wants me dead, maybe I deserve it, huh? Don't you ever think about that? Maybe I deserve to die out there. Maybe we all do. With that, Deese stomps away. Rhett and Utopia look stunned. You follow Deese around the outer walls of the colony to where he's angrily pulling things out of the drainpipe hiding hole he has long since outgrown. Stupid humans, he grumbles, stuffing what looks like a bedroll into a carrying bag. They never think of anything except, oh, he continues, trailing off when he sees you. What do you want? Are you okay? I'm great, Deese mutters. Just awesome, actually. Yeah, thanks for asking. You watch him pull things from his hideaway and throw them into two piles. Screw this colony, he says. I didn't ask to be a part of it. I don't need it. I don't need anyone. I'd be better off living in the woods like an animal. At least that's real. He reaches far in and pulls out a busted-up-looking mechanical device, his old alien communicator he made using gear he stole from Command. Jeez, he laughs. Guess I don't need that anymore. Take me with you. Deese takes a second to consider this before your meaning sets in. What? Why? He replies, baffled. Come on, Yappy, you have, life here. A future. You have friends, people who love you. Don't throw it all away just because of me. I'm not worth it. His face softens. Look, maybe once I'm set up, okay? I'll send you a message, if you really mean it. Dees finishes packing up the stuff he's going to keep, which barely amounts to a full backpack. He straps it in his back and nods to you, determined. "Did I ever tell you my full name?" he asks, seemingly randomly. "I know it. Dysthemia." Dees's expression is surprised for a split second before going blank again. "Yeah, it means being sad. What a joke, right? Who names their kid that?" He shakes his head. "Aunt Anne always talks about how babies made everyone happier. Was my mom sad before she had me and Tang? Or did having us make her sad?" His smile twists. "Was it me? Was I the reason?" Dee scuffs his boot in the dirt. "Whatever," he mumbles. "No one's cared about me, basically ever. Since before I was born. My own mom couldn't love me. The, one person who you think could." He looks up at the sky and blinks rapidly. "Whatever," he repeats. "I'm out of here. Thank you, Yabby, for everything. You're the only good thing about this shithole. I'm gonna miss you." Give him a hug. You throw your arms around Dees, who grunts and pats your back awkwardly. He doesn't relax until you finally relent and let him go. You watch him disappear between the fungal trees. Within minutes, he's out of sight. You're getting ready for bed later that day when you receive a colony-wide announcement through your holopalm. It reads as follows. "Colony notice. Reminder that there is to be no unauthorized trips outside the walls without prior authorization from Expeditions Command. Anyone caught in violation of this rule will be punished. This includes going for a walk. It is dangerous outside of the walls and it's only to be done by trained and armed personnel. Thank you, Command." How about that? You send Dees a message. Huh? Dees sends you messages you back immediately with just a picture of a knife. You're guessing he didn't get very far. Damn. But yeah, that's what I meant about the storyline matching up so well, because Dees is selling it too, maybe they're right to destroy us, and so my character, seeing the destruction that they caused, would probably be thinking the same thing. I very much like the storyline I am building up in my head. Chief Surveyor Utopia stops you and Dees near the depot. "Feel that?" she asks. You can kind of feel an ominous distant thumping, pulsing regularly through the ground. If you stand still, you can feel it vibrate up your own body too, like a massive global pulse. Utopia says, checking the readout on her holopalm. "I reckon it's naturally occurring," she concludes, "but it's giving me the willies all the same. You two better check it out. Mind you stick together and take readings on the way, in case it's dangerous." You and Dees look at each other, excited. You follow the thumping, now an audible noise, growing louder, west, until you've roughly triangulated its location. You know you're getting close, but it sounds like it's coming from all around you, and your instruments aren't precise enough to help. Follow the sound. Yeah. You find a machine? An ancient, broken-down machine, like a small pyramid-shaped building made from some kind of dark stone or bone that almost looks like it grew that way. Except, it isn't broken. It's just very old and overgrown. Looks more like a pile of rubble and roots than a building or engine or whatever it was. Still, a thumping noise comes from inside it. The vibrations are strong here, making your guts feel weird. You don't notice it at first, but there's a curious path on the ground moving away from the machine, a line a half-meter wide where the dirt is a little more worn and bare. It heads off in a straight line to the west, or coming from the west. Could animals have made its path, or the thumper itself? Analyze the thumper. It's definitely not natural. On some parts of the thumper, you can see what might have been writing once, carved deep into the not-quite rock. It must be thousands of years old. Whatever part of it still works is deep down in its core. It has a funny smell, too, sweet like something fermented. Puffs of air come from the vents near the top in time with the thumping. You also note that the animals here are a lot more aggressive than usual. Even the insects buzz more annoyingly overhead. Your scanners register higher levels of attack pheromones. Whatever's going on, the fauna don't like it either. Eventually, you head back to share your findings with Utopia. Totally an alien civilization, Dees insists. Utopia scratches her head. "I suppose, maybe," she says. You said it looks ancient, right? Perhaps there could have been another Civ here long ago. We have found other signs, but nothing active like this. Seems to be pointing west, or receiving something. She snaps her fingers. There's some right ugly ridge lines out there that have kept us from checking that direction, but we got gliders and motivation. That's half the battle. She makes a note on her holopalm. I'll open up the western ridges for surveyors, she says, then grins. Whew, say that 3 times fast. Deese is right. Definitely aliens. Deese gives you a knowing look, but says nothing. Alright, I need to get data for Sim, but I'm not sure how to do that considering I have absolutely no persuasion right now. I guess we'll just have to see. Because Hal's not here. Hal's dead this time, so... Ah, I just came to see you. Congruence allows her expression to show doubt. Though she seems flattered, you chat for a bit, then she tells you to get out before you get in trouble. She seems to be lonely. Can an artificial intelligence get lonely? It's something you've never really thought about before. You guess she must miss Professor Hal quite a bit. So did I get it? Ah, I guess I did. Let's also get set up for robotics, too. Yep, there it is. Fix the robot. Robot repair. We're gonna do that a lot until we get the dog. Robot dog? Robog? Deese and Utopia glide in beside you. Whew! Utopia exclaims. You handled that glider like a champ, Deese. You too, Yabby. She peers down the slope of the ridge. A lot more exciting than the swamps, right? I want you two to stick together out there. It's dangerous in those ancient Convergent Domain ruins. Convergent Domain? Ruins? You look around. The landscape is nothing like you've ever seen before. Dry, cracked soil gave way to steep cliffs, and what little vegetation here is brittle and sharp. You can feel the dry air wick away the moisture in your lips. Wait, what the heck is that? Glowy thing on the ground. You point it out. Utopia gives it a nudge with her foot. Beats me, she says. You unearth the object. It's pulsing with light and warm to the touch. Hold up, Utopia says. Don't just go picking things up, Yabby. Could be radioactive, you know? Utopia waves her holopalm crystal over it and checks the interface. Only a little, she concludes. Whatever it is, it looks old, like thousands of years old. We've been digging up glowing gadgets all over this region, but got no clue what they're for. You hang on to that one. Maybe you'll figure it out. Okie dokie. Deese! Deese is an entirely different person when he's outside the colony walls. Without people constantly trying to correct his asocial behavior, it's like he's blossomed into someone who's actually confident. The more time you spend with him out here, the more glimpses you catch of the real Deese. Bet you can't do this, he says, jumping off a huge boulder and doing a cool roll at the end. Wait, no, bet you can't do it with your eyes closed, I can. You and Deese cavort around, daring each other to do more dangerous things. Deese isn't scared of anything. You think you see something up on one of the plateaus above you. The cliffside is covered in convenient vines. Dare you to kiss him on the lips! Deese goes pale. What? No, that's not the same, he exclaims. You're cheating. Wow, you might have found the one thing Deese is scared of. He insists you pick a real dare. Alright. I will race you to the next checkpoint. You're off before you can even finish the sentence, Deese hollering, no fair, as you leave him in the dust. The two of you run on and continue your day. I love making him blush. It's just so adorable when the characters blush. It's so cute. Grab the flower. Okay. You spot Deese about to head out on expedition. He's carrying a full backpack with a second one at his feet full of surveying equipment. As you approach, you realize he's writing in a notebook, an actual notebook with paper and everything, braced on his one knee with one foot on his equipment. He looks up as you approach and closes his notebook, slipping it into the jacket pocket over his heart. Oh, hey Yabby, he says, and tucks the pen behind his ear. Are you coming too? What? Are you coming too? That's cool. Maybe we'll be posted near each other. I just came to say hi. Deese smiles, a brief little flash of his teeth. Oh, thanks, he says. I'll only be gone a few days. No big deal. What were you writing? Just stuff, Deese says dismissively. I like writing on paper. It feels more real, you know? And it's more private than having everything on your holopalm where people could find it. You beg him for more details. Deese huffs through his nose, but he looks amused. Just stuff, he repeats. How I'm feeling, what the weather's like, what people are doing around the colony. I like observing people. Sometimes I pretend I'm an alien, he continues, and I'm studying how people act so I can blend in. You ever write about me? Dees goes red and ducks his head. Well, sure, he says. You're part of the colony, right? And you're my friend, so of course I write about you. You're about to ask to see, but you're interrupted by Utopia calling for all hands to board expedition vehicles. Dees stoops to pick up the surveying equipment, then he's gone without a word. He must not want you to know what he's writing about you. Curious. Oh, I forgot about Vertumnalia. With Dees standing beside you, you wonder if the two ships will ever feel like one colony. I don't care. I hate you guys. Let's see. Who do these Helio jerks think they are? Right, Mars exclaims. This Lum guy is a tool. Did you hear what he said about us? How crass. Like, have some respect. Dees arrives carrying a big tureen of stew, and now they're just taking over, and everybody's okay with this? The adults are bigger cowards than I thought. Mars looks at Dees in shock that they agree on something for once. Alright, and I am ditching the event. You head off to the wall, where you find Dees. Oh, it's you, he says. The slightly cooler breeze coming from the forest gently tussles his hair. What do you want? I just came to find you. You try to say it suggestively, but you aren't sure he understands. Oh, Dees mumbles. He picks at a loose thread on his sleeve, worrying a hole near the cuff of his thumb. That's cool, I guess. By a silent mutual agreement, you and Dees stake out places on the wall. A comfortable distance apart. It's peaceful. This place sucks now, Dees says after a few minutes of silence. I can't believe we got taken over by a bunch of stupid soldiers, and everyone's down there, playing nice with them and pretending like they're going to help us. He looks out towards the wilderness. What's out there is bigger than their guns. I know it. You know what? And you're right. I mean, we've already seen a faceless. And in our past lives and many past playthroughs, we've seen just how dangerous it can get. Alright, so this is our first interaction with the Vacubot, which will eventually become our pet. So, Johnny 5! I love that movie, Johnny 5! You stencil the bot's name on its chases and send it on its merry way. There you go, little Johnny 5. See you again in a few days. I didn't realize there would be more options. Johnny 5 is perfect. Number 5 is alive! You hear Dees shouting from nearby to come quick and look at this. You meet up with Dees on a furiously clean part of the path. There's no twigs, pebbles, bits of grass, or the ubiquitous dwarf's moth scales that litter this area. It almost looks like it's been swept clean. And there, in the middle of a perfect circle 3 meters wide, is what you could only describe as a shrine. A hollow, waist-height structure made from twigs and packed with spark snow forms the centerpiece. Around it are deliberately placed piles of colorful fruit, flowers, and glittering stones, like an offering. Investigate it. You don't think even Dees is weird enough to make something like this. It's creepy as hell. Gives you the spooks just standing near it. You try to get inside the structure for a closer look. It's almost big enough for you to crouch inside, but not quite. Oh no! You accidentally hit it and the whole thing collapses on top of you. As you dig your way out, feeling a little bad, but also oddly relieved to have destroyed it, you do find a neat crystal. You show it to Dees, but he just rolls his eyes. No, I don't want that. Stake it out and wait. You hang out for hours, but don't discover anything except how boring an idea this was. Dees takes a nap. You're almost falling asleep when something shuffles into the clearing. It's a bush bub. It slowly crawls down along the path. It stops to pick up a pot flower. It stops to pick up a stone. When it arrives at the shrine, it carefully places the flower in a pile of flowers, and the stone in a pile of stones. Then it picks up the stone and repositions it, just so. You wonder if this creature is somehow religious? Or is it trying to attract a mate with this little show of decor? There's so much you don't know about the animals that live here. Oh, a new perk. Ooh. I barely paid attention to my gear. Probably should add stuff. Oh, come on. That's just mean. Oh! I used telekinesis to get it! I have summoning powers. Security Chief Rhett has brought in one of the sentry turrets for repair. The damn things are jammed again, he exclaims, exasperated. They turn on, but instead of firing, they just make this loud buzzing noise. He clicks the turret on, then the room is filled with a high-pitched clunking squeal. You wince and cover your ears. It's annoying, but it's not very effective, he shouts over the din. Can you make them kill things again? With bullets, not with noise? I'm not fixing your machines of war! You refuse to contribute to humanity's forever war on the animals of this planet. Rhett's face goes completely red, and he looks like he's still going to drop a packet. You can practically see him silently counting to 10 and gritting his teeth. After an awkward standoff that goes on far too long, his shoulders drop and he shakes his head. Fine, he mutters. I'll take it to one of the other brainiacs upstairs, but I'm reporting you to command for insubordination. Well, fuck command, too! Fuck all of you! I hate everyone except for Dees. Alright, so we are going to start from now on. We're heading into the shelter. We are not going outside. We are not a part of this war anymore. Just like the narrative that we've built up, we don't want to take a part of it anymore after what we may or may not have caused last time. We're going to the lounge. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the party, because everyone's like, oh, yay, we're safe. We're not. We never will be. Alright, on to the next year. We're going to continue befriending Sim, and we're also going to focus a lot on robotics, just so we can get that pet before it's time for us to continue on to the swamps. But first, I gotta check in with my boy. Hey, Dees. Dees is relaxing in back of one of the expedition vehicles, absorbed in a hollow novel. You clear your throat, and he jumps and gives you an awkward but genuine smile. Hey, Abby, he says, pulling his legs out of the way so you can climb in beside him. It's getting harder to find places to be alone here, don't you think? I'd kill to be out exploring, but Utopia insisted we have a rest day. He rolls his eyes. Dees closes his hollow novel and sighs. It's just so crowded here, he complains, and it's boring. I'd rather be out there with Sim, learning about his planet, Dees continues, looking wistful. He folds his hands over his heart. He's so interesting. I could talk to him forever, you know? Like we really connect. Have you gotten much out of him? Yeah, Dees exclaims, sitting up straighter. Well, I mean, sort of. He still says there's stuff I'm not supposed to know yet, but I've figured out a lot on my own. The biggest thing is that the planet is basically all connected, like a fungal network that's so old and complex that it's practically like a computer, he says, talking fast and excited. And it's not just the mushrooms, the trees, the animals, even the rocks in the water. He smiles. He didn't want me to know that one, he confides in you, but I guessed it. Remember how your dad got sick every year from the pollen, and it was actually fungal spores? Well, I just started thinking from there, and yeah, it's like every year the planet refreshes its communication network with fresh spores. It's so cool. I knew that one. Really? Dees says. How about the fact that Sim is really old, like really, really old, Dees continues, like probably thousands of years old. Sometimes he talks about stuff from ancient history like he was really there, because he totally was. Dees laughs a little, but he still acts like a kid sometimes, you know? Like he loves holovids and candy and playing tricks. I knew that. Oh, right, Dees says. He said you helped him get access to a holovid archive. Good job, by the way. Oh, and I've seen other gardeners, Dees says quietly. They don't look like Sim at all. They look like, well, they look scary. Whoa, no way! Okay, one more, Dees says, his face going pink. The gardeners don't have clothes. Sim was naked when I met him. I had to bring him clothes from the colony. Are you blushing? No, Dees stammers, his face going even more red. It was just really embarrassing, okay? He was naked. I didn't know where to look. What about you? Dees asks. What has he told you? Well? Dees is listening intently. Sim's hair seems alive. Dees rolls his eyes. Well, duh. Anyone who sees him knows that, he says. It's like it moves, right? I thought I was imagining it, but it's kind of like how plants move to face the sunlight. The convergent domain made the gardeners. Dees listened in shocked silence as you unburden yourself of everything you learned about the convergent domain, the gardeners, and the history of Rotumna. To his credit, he doesn't once say that you're making things up. Of all the people in the colony, you know Dees is the one person who you can count on to believe you without question. When you're done, Dees stares out of the window of the cab. Finally, he blinks and clears his throat, as if coming out of a daze. I have to talk to Sim about this, he says. This changes everything. I wish we could tell people about Sim, Dees says. I feel like if people knew him like we do, they'd realize that what we're doing here is wrong. But I'm scared that if I tell someone, Sim will never talk to me again. He says we're not ready. We can't tell anyone what we know. I know, Dees mumbles. sighing as he thunks his head against the window of the cab. I don't want to mess up whatever plan they have. I just want to help, though, you know? I know. Dees nods and turns away, done with this conversation. We're trapped in a war between the aliens and the humans, with the humans actually being pretty shitty. But that's not nothing new, is it? Oh, I just got here. What's up? You're about to set off on your gliders when Dees stops you. Actually, he says, looking around furtively, I want to show you a place I found when I was scouting. You look up from your holomap. It's not on any map yet, he says. It's special. I want to show you, because I think you're the only person in the colony who will understand what it means. You and Dees set off, hoping for a few hours before the trackers in your holopoms ping Utopia that you're not where you said you'd be. After a short trek off map, Dees takes you to a round door set in the side of a cliff. The door is glossy black and made of something that's part bone and part stone, like the rest of the convergent domain architecture you've seen. Unlike the ruins, this place looks, well, not new, but definitely well maintained. Dees touches his fingers to the center of the door, and it dilates like an iris. Previously unseen seams folding in on themselves with a noise like rocks grinding together. Inside is a lumpy, smooth tunnel that reminds you unpleasantly of intestines. It looks like you could barely fit in there on hands and knees. An unexpectedly cool wind ruffles your hair. Dive on in there! You both crawl in and inch your way through the tunnel where the cave opens up. About 10 or 15 meters in, you stand in a cave that looks part organic and part intentional, like a curious mixture of almost organic-looking stone growths, crystals, and glowing mushrooms in a riot of iridescent oil-slick colors. Some of which looks like they could be controls for an ancient bioweapon, like the Overseer's Den. Your view deeper into the cave is obscured by a layer-cake stalagmite pillars. Everything is dark, but for the eerie glow, you're using your holopomps as flashlights. But it's air-conditioned. Cool, fresh air is blowing from vents in the floor. I haven't figured out what this place is for yet, Dees says, touching a mushroom with his fingertip. It puts out a cloud of glowing spores, and he sneezes. You spread out to see if you can decipher this place. Like, what the heck is that? Ooh, I'll always take more strange devices. How about that writing on the wall? There's a huge, faceted crystal plate embedded in the wall engraved with deep glyphs. Convergent domain writing, you guess. And some kind of map? There are lines between the symbols. You trace your hand over it, but you can't make any sense of it. Well, what in the world is that console-looking thing? It's a screen. If it's a screen, it's all dark, like when Congruence isn't active. Unlike Congruence's colorful, decorated chassis, this has a decidedly alien tech feel. You fiddle around, touching things at random. Don't do that, Dees hisses, but nothing happens. What if I did this? Dees makes a shocked noise as the reality of the cave melts away, and you find yourself back at the depot. No, not back, not entirely. You can still feel the cool, moist breath of the cave on your cheeks. You can still smell the funk of the mushrooms, but everything else is exactly as you'd expect, as real as if you could reach out and touch it. You feel embodied, like you can feel the pressure of your feet, 4 feet, on the ground. Utopia walks through Dees, rematerializing on the other side to talk to one of the other surveyors. Dees passes his hand through her image with amazement. Are they spying on us? He breathes. The image of Utopia doesn't seem to hear him. You take your hand off the consoles, and the cave returns. Dees blinks at you in the sudden gloom. What the hell was that? He says. It was like we were really there, like we were seeing out of the eyes of some kind of animal, like we were the animal. Are the gardeners spying on us? Sim says they have eyes everywhere, Dees says. I didn't know he meant literally. We can't let Utopia know about this, he continues. We have to keep Sim's secrets. You agree to keep this monitoring station a secret. I never would tell. Sim is my boy. And I have loved him in many a past lives. Oh yeah, this thing. Let's see. Look at the thumpers, check out the pyramid, investigate other buildings. Now you're looking through a large round door into a small featureless room. Quite small, quite featureless, totally dark, very creepy, but you can hear a faint hum. It's still powered? Bravely walk inside. You walk in, Dees close behind. Then suddenly, the iris closes, the floor lurches, and you're moving down. An elevator. The elevator squeals and grinds away like it hasn't been used in literally thousands of years. It doesn't go far, then grinds to a halt, and the iris opens to reveal a large room with obsidian walls. Like all convergent domain spaces, it's more cave than room, with stalactites everywhere and giant lumpy mounds of fungus. You wonder if the obsidian stuff they built with melts over time, running and dripping in extreme slow motion. There are consoles on the walls, like this is some kind of control room, just like in the monitoring station Dees found. Most of it is long and dark and covered with a thick layer of dust, except for one device with two weird bony knobby sticks poking out of it. Grab the sticks. You're starting to get the hang of these convergent domain interfaces. You just take hold of these two stick thingies and you cease to be yourself. You're like a visual, audio, and weirdly tactile representation of something vast. You have a feeling of being in a large, complex space. No, like you are the space, a digital space like a computer system, as if you were sucked inside a 3D representation of the HoloNet, and you could see the files and processes and whole worlds of data, but in alien formats that speak to you more in sensation than logic. You let go of the sticks and the console room comes back. You grab them again and understanding fills your head. It feels not at all different from your bouts of deja vu, remembering, like of memories being inserted into your mind, and suddenly you just know how to use this interface. You just think of where you want to go, or where you want to know, and away you go. Sim's request that you not interface with the array without him echoes in your mind, but you're already losing that part of yourself. You bump up against the convergent domain's digital security network and are immediately recognized and allowed inside, where the gardener's true consciousness exists, and from where they monitor and maintain the planet's ecosystem. This interface gives you access to an overview of it. The scope of it is dizzying. There must be thousands of gardener AIs in there. Then a booming voice enters your brain and obliterates all else, speaking in more abstract thought than words, but loud. What are you doing in Wormhole Observatory Array Console 5, you nosy little creature? Then an explosion in your head and you're thrown backwards and out of the array. There must have also been an explosion in your hands, which are now singed. The console is blown out and dead. You're shaken. The Overseer must have not liked you poking around in there. You tell Dees about the array and the voice saying Wormhole Observatory. He looks around, impressed. The convergent domain was sure up to some shit, he says. You decide to call it a day. Your arms feel all tingly and weak from getting electrocuted, and your heart is still thumping a mile a minute. But you'll be back. Yes, I will. We'll go home now. I need bandages for my hands. Does anyone have Aquaphor? It's birthday. Someone's sitting on your balcony. It's Dees. He's on your balcony? He's starting to act more like Sim every day. You're finally awake, Dees says, slipping off her railing. You were trying to cross the border, right? I thought you were going to sleep away your whole birthday. Happy birthday, by the way. You watch the sunrise in companionable silence. Immediately skip past the part about my dad. Shut up, Dad! Ah, the shimmer is back. I'll stay put. I don't really care. Oh, no, why did that give me... Oh... Damn it. I didn't want to care about my dad. Don't worry. I'll get that rebellion back soon enough. We know I will. Didn't even care about what just happened. I don't want to be at the funeral. I don't want to be here. I'm back. Alright, let's see. Dees tries to keep... Oh. You and Dees are exploring the ruined Wormhole Observatory again. It feels so... familiar. You've dreamed about this place many times, and it's like you're just remembering it all now. This time the dream memories grip you. You wander as if sleepwalking down familiar paths. You look up and see the wormhole faint in the sky above. The time is right to observe it. Dees tries to keep up. Where are you going? He asks angrily. You don't answer. You're trying to concentrate on finding the place. You approach the large pyramid in the center of the complex. Beside it is one of the smaller elevators, a little monolith with a round iris door. This is the place. Your head throbs with it. Even standing outside, you know there's something down there. Find a way in. Let's see. Oh yeah, I remember this. I figured out how to get through it. I'll take a sample. Push through. Keep going. Dees looks concerned, even going as far as to reach out to steady you. Are you okay? Try to explain it to Dees. It's hard to put it into words. You just say, my head hurts. Obviously, he says, but no, it's more than that. You're seeing things. It's kind of like the array, and kind of like a dream. You feel that something super important is up ahead and you need to see it. Maybe we'd better leave, Dee says nervously. You don't look so good. Keep going! Damn it! Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me! Reasoning 49, seriously? Alright, we're loading this whole day back. We're gonna get one more reasoning and we'll come back. But first we gotta go through Vertumnalia again. Oh, the secret admirer! Ooh! Alright, no thanks. You head off to the walls to get a break from the crowd. Dees is up here as well, sketching in a notebook. He shows you a few drawings he's made of various Vertumnan animals, like the Unisaur they starved and dragged out for the Xeno-wrangling competition this year. It sucks, he says, but doesn't say anything more after that. You're not sure if he means his drawing, or the competition, or the whole colony. Alright, where's my secret admirer? Hello? You find Dees loading some equipment into an expedition's vehicle. He nods at you as you approach before going back to his work. Someone gave you the data band. It might have been Dees. Are you my secret admirer? Dees doesn't meet your eyes. So what if I was? Don't make a big deal out of it. But I like you too. Dees stops and turns towards you slowly, like he can't believe your words. What? Why? I just do. Dees looks at you in shock, then looks away, breathing out shakily. Okay, he mutters, his cheeks turning pink. Cool, I guess. Yeah, I think he's one of the characters that if you go in for a smooch, he doesn't like it. Alright, now we can go back to the ridge. Concentrate. Mind over matter. You keep going. At the bottom of the hallway, there are more crystal panels on the walls, many facets broken, or are they whole? The walls have crumbled and the roots creep over everything, but also they don't. Every time you blink, the room seems to flip and swim between two realities. All the same, you feel absolutely compelled to continue. What is with this place? Dees is both there and not there. The part of him which exists looks concerned. We need to leave now, he says. This place is hurting you. There's a round iris door at the end of the hall. Are you sure you want to go any further? Yes, I am! You pass through the doorway into some large chamber with a sloping ceiling. You sense of this place is... Your sense of this place, of the vibrations, is telling you this must be directly under the big pyramid on the surface. The floor and even the air here thrums with vibrating energy. Oh, now I can feel it too, Dees mutters behind you, rubbing his head. The room is empty, except for the raised platform in the middle, which looks enticingly like a bed, which is convenient because you're definitely going to faint this time. You collapse onto the platform and are overwhelmed by a spectacular migraine headache. It feels like your head is going to explode. Focus on the pain! Oh goodness. You slip into some kind of waking dream, layers upon layers of visions. Dees is your lover, or Mars, or Tammy. You're a boy and a girl, or both, neither. Young and old, a farmer, a hunter, a politician. You're dead and you're alive and you've never been born. Time unravels before you, an infinite tapestry crumbling wherever you look. It's all very weird. You see a web of possibilities and understand what time truly is. It's all happening at once, and none of it will ever happen. It's only sheer chance that any one possibility comes into existence, not any intrinsic truth of the universe, of fate. It's just a glimpse, probably over in a second, but a glimpse of an eternity you can hardly fathom. Then you see the wormhole, enormous in a starry sky. You look down and see yourself on a plateau, gazing up at it. You recognize the place, a Narwood bluff not far from the colony, alive with phosphor. Oh yeah, this is talking about the Transcendence ending. We will not worry about that ending this time. You wake up feeling refreshed. Your headache is gone. You're still a little dizzy, but the room has stopped spinning and has returned to one singular reality again. The vibrations have stilled. Dees' face fills your vision. Yabby, he exclaims. Yabby, are you okay? Tell Dees what you saw. He listens in awe, and then in dejection, as you describe your visions. Why didn't I see it? He sighs. I was here too. I want to know everything. Include the juicy bits. You tell Dees that you saw visions of yourself and him being intimate. His face grows red. What? He squeaks. I mean, without my clothes on? He looks away, embarrassed. Tell him about your dreams. You tell Dees about how not only did you see all those visions, but that you believe you're real. They're real. You've lived them, or some of them anyway. They're as real as the life you're living now. He listens intently, then nods. I believe you, he says simply. You look at him in shock, but he just reaches out and puts his hand over yours. I know what it's like when people don't. I'm not going to do that to you. You don't know what any of this means, but you're one step closer to figuring it out. You feel like you've just had some kind of mega prophecy, but it was too much all at once, too hard to understand. Could the Convergent Domain handle this kind of information? Could they remember past lives like you? Is that what this room, this observatory, was meant for? The only thing you remember clearly... Oh yeah, glow again. We're not going out, because I don't want to transcend this time. Maybe another time. Here we go! You enter the lab to find everything in chaos. The robots are rebelling! Try to reprogram it manually. We're not destroying Johnny 5. You know what? It is so funny that the robots are, like, rebelling and doing their own thing, and then we named it Johnny 5. That's a little too perfect. You get under your elbows in Johnny 5's robotic guts. Just when you think you've got a handle on what might be wrong, it flickers to life. No, disassemble, it says. I want to live. It's thinking for itself? The bot's sensors flicker and go dark, then light up again. My name is Johnny 5, it says in a more natural voice, then repeats, I want to live. Johnny 5, don't worry, you can live with me. My pet bot, yay, we got Johnny 5. Perfect, now we can focus on the swamp and getting the Unisar next time. You've been trekking up a gentle incline for what feels like hours before you finally reach the edge of a cliff. The plains spread out before you as far as you can see in every direction, sparkling lakes reflecting perfect circles of sky. Spark snow drifts lazily through the air, flickering like fireflies in the distance. Everything sounds muffled and peaceful. One of the suns is setting, and the other is rising. It's spectacular. Dees joins you shortly afterwards, just as speechless. Focus on Dees. Dees doesn't want to talk, but that's okay. It's almost better to just sit with him in comfortable silence. He appreciates that you're not like the other kids, who just want to chatter all the time. It makes him anxious. We'll go home now. Use my telekinesis again! Yes. There we go. We're going to hide inside. Best to stay inside. Oh yeah, the explosion. Oh no! Unfortunately, the colony wasn't prepared for an attack of this magnitude, or the havoc that Governor Lum brought down with these explosives. While everyone was distracted by the pyrotechnics, Xenos got into one of the greenhouses and destroyed the next season's seedlings, and not all the explosives went off. As Utopia's team starts their cleanup, a stray charge suddenly explodes across the shield. Shrapnel zips past you as everyone dives for cover. A piece hits you in the thigh. Yee effing stars! Ouch! As you gingerly check the nasty burn onto your leg, you consider that if Utopia's right, at least the garrison's out of explosives to play with. You can't just nanoprint more unstable molecules to use. But how will the colony defend itself during the next attack? Oh shit! Oh no! Dang, I've never seen that one before, where that happens. I've never seen that before. I've always had enough defense. Maybe, it was partly my fault. I refused to fix the turrets, but oh well. I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure we'll all be fine. We'll worry about that next time. Next time we've got a lot more to do. We're reaching up to the end of it. Soon we're going to see these 2 special endings we've been waiting for. And see what our beautiful romance with Dees will blossom into. But until then, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Remember to take care of yourself, use your powers of telekinesis well, and have a good day.